Hello?
Hi, Peter.
Hey, Frank?
Yeah.
Yeah, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good.
So what's up?
Well, I've been working on this piece with Leon and Hesh Rosen and Nett and Jackie Shea. Boy, I think you'll really like it. It's I'll be sending it in, I guess tomorrow or the next day or something.
You know, I'm doing a show right now.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any stuff for me?
No, I don't.
Really?
No.
Jeez, I mean, wow. I thought I sent you a load of stuff. You must have used it up.
Here, well, let me check on the computer. Maybe I.
Yeah, maybe.
Is there something
maybe
I haven't
you have
used?
some old stuff, an old song or something you can throw in there.
No, I don't see anything. It's all been used.
Okay, well, I got this other one coming in next week. A friend of mine from Philly, his brother has a band, and I made a copy of one of their cuts. I'm sending it to you.
Yeah, but geez, I hate to have a show without you. You know. I mean,
boy.
I'm doing this right now as we speak.
Yeah, usually I'm on top of these things. I got boy, I don't know what's going on. I've been really busy. I've been here at work a lot, day and night it seems.
How about the, you got a Milords coming?
The
what
Milords. Well, actually, I wanted to tell you about this, Peter. Well, the good news is that we'll be getting some new equipment.
What's that got to do with the Milords?
Well, the other news is the Milords are the new spokesman for Dow Chemical.
Oh, man, Frank.
I mean, I ran into this guy the other week, and he said he heard the Milords on KPFA.
Jeez.
He said he, could
Dow
make
Chemical?
us a deal.
Dow Chemical? Frank, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like we're railing about the integrity of art all the time on this show, and you're going to sell the Milords to Dow Chemical?
Well, I mean, the Milords are kind of scumbag guys, anyhow. I mean, couldn't you see them saying,
You're right.
we bring better things than servants to your life, or something like that,
You're rationalizing, Frank. You're rationalizing. Jeez, I almost didn't get to the show this week myself.
What have you been up to?
Well, I had to write an industrial for Pepsi.
For Pepsi?
Yeah.
Peter, Mr. Stay away from the big business guys. You're right. What are you doing with Pepsi?
Hey, man, I had to pay the rent. They called me to write this promotional thing for them at the Mall of America.
Oh, no. The Mall of America.
I know.
You did a bit on the Mall of America.
I know. Well, that was Mr. Sunshine.
Mr. Sunshine.
That wasn't me. Oh, we're falling apart.
Yeah.
This may be our last show.
Jeez, well, I tell you, though, the Milords, the guy from Dow, he was really giving me a good pitch. We could really make a lot of dough from this. We could have spin-offs.
Hey, you know what? Maybe that's why that lawyer from NBC called me. Maybe it had something to do with this. You know about these characters on Saturday Night Live?
No.
Well, there's two characters on Saturday Night Live that he says you stole.
Whoa.
As these fancy pants Renaissance guys or something. I don't know what they are.
The Milords. They're like, I stole them from the Scarlet Pimpernel with Leslie Howard.
See, if you're gonna steal from the best. You wouldn't steal from Saturday Night Live.
I don't watch Saturday Night Live.
Neither do I.
I'm tired on Saturday night.
Who would steal from that? Oh, man. Hi, I'm Peter Donalds. This is the NeoRadio Hour, home of independent writers, musicians, and home tapers, the folk artists of the electronic age. We've got the usual eclectic mix of scenes, stories, and sound sculptures, including a few neo-bits from our own studios. Regulars, the Milords, will not be here tonight, but Mr. Sunshine will. And in conversation, I'll be talking with none other than Frank the Courier, alias Frank Skillman, co-producer of the NeoRadio Hour. We're going to keep conversation in-house tonight and talk about a variety of things. It's the NeoRadio Hour. Independent audio art.
She's not as pretty as Madonna, but she can eat a whole tree. She's got scales on her legs and long nails. She's my brontosaurus baby. She likes me. She licks me. Her tongue is a wet mattress of pleasure. She's not as pretty as Madonna, but she can eat a whole tree. I like to climb up in the nest and feel her egg. She's got scales on her belly and long nails. She likes me. She licks me. My brontosaurus baby. One day, I was hitchhiking through the jungle, trudging through the lush, opulent verdure. I was pre-epic. I was preoccupied. I was perambulating. I was formulating petroglyphs in my mind. I wasn't watching where I was going. Suddenly, I stumbled into an ooze, a slime, a tar pit. I was sinking up to my knees, up to my waist. I couldn't breathe. I thought I was gonna die. And I felt the ground shake. And I looked up to see this big old eye. And I said, baby, get me out of here. The next thing I knew, she had wrapped her tongue all around me. And I was airborne. And she licked me. I like to slide down her back and feel her ovipositor. I can tell when she's ovulating. Oh, she's my baby. She's not quite as pretty as, she don't look a whole lot like that Madonna, but she can eat a whole tree. She likes me. She licks me. Oh, yeah.
The NeoRadio Hour.
love everything about you. Well, I guess I almost do. I'm not looking for perfect love no more. The searching days are through. You know it ain't easy when you find that love's not the thing you thought you knew. But until I find the answers, Lord, I guess that almost love is gonna have to do. I love everything about you, even though I may not always will, but I can live with the things I don't at least. Until you drive me crazy, still it ain't easy. When you realize almost right will have to do. But until I find the answers, Lord, I guess that almost love's gonna have to do. Oh, 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 almost love. I know something is there, but I'm not sure what. It's not quite right and it's not quite wrong, but I keep on hanging on till all this almost love is gone. Because I love everything about you. There, I said it one more time. You know the one time a prophet, two times a fool. Ain't so easy to see when your love is blind. It ain't easy when you're caught in the middle of a love catch-22. But until I find the answers, Lord, I guess that almost love is gonna have to do. Yes, until I find the answers, I guess that almost love is gonna have to do.
Well, I guess I'll burn that bridge when I come to it, he told himself, as he looked over at her obliquely. She spoke for the first time in hours. Aesthetic achievement can and should be taken at the objective level. Generally speaking, you'll be better off, as this concept is beyond ideas. He ruminated, then shot back. Are you trying to say that everything you make is you? Everything you do is true? Then what about that old jar of chicken fat sitting over there on the windowsill near the potted plant? The twisted and distorted contortions on her face implied that she was puzzling over this retort. Finally, she spoke. As long as I can hear it, it's okay with me. Then we're in agreement, he said happily. At long last, he thought.
At her desk in the second grade, Jennifer sat and fret and sighed. Her turn was next for the presentation. She had to face all those watchful eyes. It was too late now to change her plans. Her great idea was now doubtful. And how could she have forgotten how in front of crowds she is bashful? Bashful Jenny's name was called. She shrank in fear into her seat, but this made matters even worse. So she somehow stumbled to her feet, forced herself to the front, Her eyes were glazed, she was full of dread. Her thoughts were frozen, her body rigid. But then a strangeness fills her head. She begins to laugh, it is all so clear. She'd been the source of her own fear. She'd hypnotized herself to forget until this moment when she'd be set. She spins around, she cries out sounds that change the room to a merry-go-round. Her classmates all begin to cheer. Jenny's show is the best this year. They ride and laugh all afternoon until Jennifer makes a special sign. Then everything reverted. The desks were back, and in their lines all memories became clouded. They'd been somewhere, done something fun. Jenny walked back to her desk. She couldn't remember what she'd done.
NeoRadio Hour.
Curses. In my experience, people are saying F you a lot. It hangs around in the air, never quite dissipating entirely before it gets said again. I chant the phrase to myself as I walk down Guerrero Street, with every step. F you, F you, F you. To the dog's owner, the mailbox, the tree, the curb, my feet falling hard on the pavement. I catch myself waiting for the light to change, steadily gazing at a woman in the laundry across the street. She looks happy. She has a happy life for sure. Probably has a boyfriend, healthy plants, a cat. She does her laundry and shops at Rainbow regularly, smokes pot occasionally, enjoys her job. Her. I can feel my brow furrowed with bad thought, a nail driven between my eyes. She's sitting there reading the paper, hasn't seen me across the street staring at her. Here's a disgusting image for me to carry around for the whole rest of the day, this repulsively complacent bitch. Maybe she'll even become one of those seemingly meaningless memories that stays with me for the rest of my life, potent for secret reasons, symbolic of some unknown epiphany. I would like her to feel the residue of my sweat covering my skin. I decide she is weak. It's all an act. She has a self-image which contributes to a disastrous relationship. She thinks if she wears eyeliner, he'll like her more, find her more mysterious. She thinks if she wears eyeliner and doesn't talk quite so much, she thinks if she joins a study group on Middle Eastern politics so that when she does talk, she'll sound really intelligent. If she lifts weights, shaves her legs, and acts more independent. If she gives him more space. If she lets her hair grow, cooks delightful meals, and has her own life. If her outfits match. If she reads the paper. If she makes more money. She thinks if she seems more confident. If she laughs more, he'll enjoy her presence. If she stops smoking. If she wouldn't age quite so fast. If she were different, it would be different, she thinks. She has had repeated abortions and now cannot get pregnant. She takes part in New Age rituals which are so loud and obnoxious that neighbors complain and the backyard plants are trampled. I can think a mile a minute, and the light has already changed a few times, and the woman looks up, suddenly puzzled, then turns her head a definitive 90-degree angle to look straight at me. She stares, not sure. We almost recognize each other. I bow my head in shame.
You're listening to the NeoRadio Hour. I'm Peter Donalds, and I'd like at this time to apologize with all my heart to Amanda Krugliak, who wrote and performed that last piece. I had to bleep out some very harmless words that the FCC just won't allow. I'll never understand this. I mean, they're words, you know? But the FCC, a bunch of Reagan appointee Nazis and fascists, just will not allow it. And, I mean, there was a time when women's ankles were considered obscene. I think it's high time that we move forward a little bit. They are just words. I mean, you know, the FCC allows violence and home shopping networks. I mean, the things that I consider obscene. But this gave me an idea. When I was in the 6th grade, I was in love with Teresa Carbon. And I would write on my notebooks and folders, I love Teresa Carbon. Now, of course, this was something taboo for a 6th grader. I couldn't let my friends see this. So what I would do is I would write each letter one on top of the other, so that when I was done, it was just an indistinguishable blob of ink. But I knew exactly what it said. So I thought, well, in a tribute to Amanda Krugliak for writing such a nice piece, and in defiance, in my own defiance of the FCC, I would do an audio version of my little letter blob, and I'm going to take all of the cuts I made from that last piece, and you're going to hear them now.
The NeoRadio Hour.
Frank the Courier on the line. Frank, where have you been?
Well, I've been in Hong Kong for a long time.
Yeah, you sent us a lot of bits from Hong Kong.
Yeah, but I've been having trouble there lately. I have this, suddenly there are these new commissar-type guys coming around and,
military?
checking in. What?
Military?
Yeah, well, quasi-military.
Okay.
Sort of, like I said, commissars of some type.
Uh-huh.
And, they've been investigating my profits and my friends, and I don't know if things are getting kind of shaky here.
Well, I've always been a little confused. You're not really a spy.
No.
But you sort of do spy-like things.
Well, I kind of work in conjunction with the spies.
Uh-huh.
Like, a spy always needs to get a message, right?
Right.
And you never see them passing messages around. So it's the couriers. We give them the messages, then they get the babes, they do the action.
And you find irony. That's what you do.
I do. I have to in this business.
Yeah. And you sell bicycles.
Yeah, actually, that happened. I got this one gig, and they said they'd pay me off in, like $5,000 Hong Kong. Good money. I could buy some good stuff with that. But instead, they sent me all these bicycles, and I tell you, everybody here has a business.
Well, I was thinking you could combine your two avocations there, and you could expand and get a whole fleet of couriers, bicycle couriers.
Bicycle couriers.
Yeah. So all the spies use bicycle couriers in Hong Kong now.
It's hard to get these Hong Kong people on a bike, though.
I thought everybody in Hong Kong is on a bike.
No, it's like, it reminds them of their old days in China.
Yeah.
So they're like, they would all want to have cars. And
hey, it's next year, isn't it? 1997, right?
Oh, yeah.
So everybody will be on bikes again.
Yeah. They should be on bikes again. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a nice town to bicycle around, actually.
Yeah. How do people feel about that? About 97?
Well, a whole lot have already left.
Yeah.
They've gone to Vancouver
They've taken
the
their
Bay
money.
Area,
And they took their money with them, I'll bet.
they certainly did.
Yeah. So is
But
Hong
the
Kong...
English are still here. They're trying to suck the last drop of blood out of the place before they go.
So is Hong Kong gonna continue to thrive, or is it gonna degenerate with this flight of the money?
Oh, I
Seriously.
think it'll drop for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people, they just don't trust the commies.
Yeah.
The commies were really good in China in a lot of ways, but outside of there, when they go outside, they go to Tibet, they ruin the place, and they act like idiots.
So how do people in Hong Kong feel about the Taiwan situation? Is there talk about that?
They're probably not worried at all, as long as they're not getting bombed themselves.
Yeah.
They're worried about 97, I guess.
Yeah. So what kind of place do you live in? You're right in the heart of it?
Well, no, I've been living over in Sai Kung, which is kind of a suburb outside Hong Kong.
Still under Hong Kong authority, though?
Yeah, it's part of what they call the New Territories.
Okay.
And I'm over there, and it's pretty much, it used to be strictly a fishing village. But they have a lot of Australian business people live around there, and some of the yuppie Hong Kongers are out there.
What's a yuppie Hong Konger like?
Oh, let's see. The yuppie Hong Konger might come home from work at about 5 or 6 after being there from 5 in the morning.
Whoa.
Turn on his karaoke machine and belt out a few tunes.
Oh, they have their own karaoke machines at home?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And with video, so you can see the words and everything. And then might go out and walk his dog. Everybody has a dog there.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, collies and, little pups and everything.
Huh. When I was in Hong Kong, I noticed everybody was outside after work. Like you said, like 5, 6 in the evening. Everybody was hanging out. Nobody, It's like nobody was indoors.
No. No, it's a warm place, Peter. It's not Wisconsin. People know to get outside.
So you got any adventures coming up?
Well, I sure have.
Yeah, some exciting assignments?
Oh, yeah. I have. I ran into Nigel Kwong just a couple weeks ago, and I'm on a job now, which I cannot tell you about because it's a top secret deal.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as I'm finished, all my material is. That's part of my deal with the service. That after I'm actually done the assignment, I can report on it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good deal.
That's
they don't
how
mind that.
inconsequential my job is. And,
they figure you don't know enough to do any damage.
I'm the courier.
Yeah. So that's
but these commies, I don't know. They could be trouble. they could be trouble for me.
How's Nigel doing? And what side of the law is he on these days?
Nigel
He walks the
swings
fence.
like a pendulum do.
Yeah.
And he'll go with the commies because he wants to stay in Hong Kong. He likes it here. You know, he's been to the States, really. You know, he's kind of like you. He's been there and doesn't really care for it and would rather be home.
Yeah. Yeah. You can go home again
Yeah.
sometimes.
But I won't. I
No.
guess my home's here.
Yeah.
I really feel like this is home.
Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grew up in Philly.
Yeah.
Spent some time in the Bay Area.
Yeah, San Francisco, I really love that place.
Did you do any
yeah.
courier work in San Francisco?
I did a little bit. And in fact, I had to come back a few weeks ago. No, maybe it was a couple months ago. And pass something to some guy who was singing karaoke at the Dragon Boat Festival in San Francisco.
Yeah, so you're kind of running in the same circle there. There's a lot of San Francisco, Hong Kong connections, I'll bet.
Down the peninsula these days, and find excellent Chinese restaurants all over the peninsula.
I got a little Chinese restaurant here in River Falls.
Uh-huh.
I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, okay.
You don't see any Asian people on the streets, but you go in a Chinese restaurant and it's always run by an Asian family.
Huh. Are there Asian people eating there?
No.
Uh-huh.
It's like they're the only Asians in town.
Wow.
Just the ones who have a restaurant.
Yeah, I wonder where they're from. Because
probably
in
from San Francisco.
Wisconsin,
They're probably from San Francisco.
Yeah, they're the second, third generation. They don't even speak Chinese. They drive their old relatives crazy.
Well, I think we got a nice bridge here between the Midwest and the West.
Yeah.
With our little show. It's cool. We get both voices. Definitely. Get the Hong Kong connection.
Yeah, but I tell you, I think I'm coming back.
Yeah.
The commies have me worried, Peter.
Yeah.
Now, you know I'm a left-winger.
Yeah.
But being a left-winger and a commie, they're like two different things.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the problem with being a socialist or a communist is the Russians and the Chinese gave us a bad name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody knows what the words mean anymore because right away they think of that.
Right.
I can't even call myself a communist anymore. Got to invent a new word. I'll think of something.
Yeah, it's just the institutions, the people get in there. They get power.
Yeah.
They get power, and suddenly they think, they have to go to Tibet. Oh, actually, I read an interesting article by a guy who studied in Tibet. He's an American guy who was a monk. And he said he doesn't worry about the Chinese. He says he thinks the Chinese will leave on their own accord in the next 5 years.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, because they said that one of the stupid and bad things that China, the government, is doing is moving Chinese people into Tibet in an effort to take it over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Chinese people, they live way to hell up in these mountains. I mean, Tibet is not a place where everybody can live, and the Chinese hate it there.
Oh.
They don't want to be there.
Unlike the Jewish settlements in Palestine, they seem to be. That wasn't a problem there. They wanted to stay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But here, these they want to get out, and it'll just be a matter of time when they leave Tibet.
Huh.
But it is, it's time.
Yeah.
It's this time. Hong Kong, I don't know what they'll do. Will they take it over and?
Well, they're not going to want to give up the income that it generates, or don't they care about that? I mean,
I don't think they do. I mean, I think they want. There were some people I knew in Hong Kong who were learning Mandarin and were really looking to be part of China.
Yeah. I mean, you got to figure the Chinese government. These are communists who have really learned to love money. The whole global industrial thing and global trade thing. They're into that.
Yeah.
Unlike Cuba.
Right.
The only other communist country on
or the Russians,
the planet.
like the Russians, they don't know what the hell to do.
Oh man, they're a mess.
They're a mess. But the Chinese, as they enter the market, they're gonna give us a whooping.
Huh. So what's
America?
So what's worse? What's worse, a Chinese communist or Dow Chemical?
I know.
Or the Pepsi Corporation?
Really, all these guys are.
Hey, they got us. I mean, what's
Pell Grant?
What's the difference? You and me working for Pepsi and Dow, and some poor slob in China who has to work for the commies to keep a roof over his head. I mean, what's the difference? There is no difference. Not that I can see.
Yeah, we're just working. My God. I was talking to somebody Annette. I was talking to Annette. She was telling me about the amount of people who work 60 hours a week for corporations and, just businesses.
And it's
like, and these people, and I noticed that they're, like in this work that I'm doing, there are young guys who come to work and they expect to be working 50, 60 hours a week.
Oh, man.
It's kind of like that's, they do it. They just do it.
Yeah, see, we're old enough to remember, the
40-hour work week.
And one of the two parents working and the other one working at home.
Stuff like that, yeah.
See, we're old enough to remember that. One more generation, they're not even that's going to be in the history books.
Right. I mean, these people are really slaves. I mean, they're feudal. It's like going back. They're getting back to their peasant roots there. Just slaving away for the milords.
Speaking of the milords, so I got no material from you this week.
No.
How can I do a show without you?
Well, I don't know, man. Get some old stuff. I mean, I gotta have something there that we can use.
I'll pull up an old song or something.
Okay.
This is getting too tough. You gotta move to Wisconsin.
Oh, I saw Braveheart on video.
Oh, I heard that was great.
It is. It's really a great film, and it's the story of it and the character of it is just wonderful.
Did it stir your Scottish blood?
Yeah, it stirred my human blood, which was really great.
I hear that it stirs some literal blood in that movie too. It's pretty violent.
Oh yeah, I mean the violence in it is there are these battle scenes. And it's very much like it probably was. I mean, this was like the 13th century, right?
Good old-fashioned hand-to-hand combat.
I mean, guys, running up to each other and flailing these big clubs and swords and everything at each other. Oh, it was insane.
Back when violence was really violence. It wasn't this glamorous entertainment.
But that's the thing in this movie, though, was not like a desensitization. It was like a sensitivity to, look, this is what this shit is like. Look at this. This is horrible.
No, I'm not against violence at all. Just per se, it's all in the context. I thought Deer Hunter was one of the best movies I ever saw.
Right.
Remember that one? From De Niro and Christopher Walken.
Oh boy, that's been a long time since I saw that.
That was really violent. And I thought just really amazing film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
sometimes
look at Ron. Kurosawa's Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things. Yeah, it belongs there.
Yeah,
and that's it. It's part of something, but
yeah.
And even in these action adventure films, this Stallone and all that stuff, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, the stuff is there. I mean, it's a movie. It's weird. It's like it's your fantasy. It's creating a fantasy. But the thing is, I think that people have some trouble distinguishing between fantasy and reality. People have always had bizarre-ass fantasies, and especially of things like violence and, in telling a story and seeing something and having it be on film.
Well, the whole Gothic tradition, of novels, Gothic novels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting scared and, But the thing is, that's it. I mean, it's fantasy and reality has started to. These people with the phone call industry call up for sex or have sex on the internet and stuff like that. It's just like there's a fantasy. Human beings have sexual fantasy, and it's a healthy part of your life. Mm-hmm. But it's starting to stretch into reality, a strange reality, I'll say, with the telephone and everything, and the internet.
Yeah.
What the hell?
It's like we're creating a new hybrid. When you're in cyberspace, when you're on the internet, when you're on the phone, when you're watching television, listening to the radio.
Yeah.
It's part fantasy and part reality, and you don't quite know where one ends and the other begins. And we're spending more and more of our time in that landscape.
Yeah.
Like
so people should know where the hell they are.
Yeah.
They're not in the internet. They're in the goddamn living world here.
Yeah.
And, have sex for real.
Like Scott Davey uses the term the electronic landscape.
Yeah.
And we're spending more and more of our time treading that place.
Yeah, we're doing it on the phone. It's an internet.
As you speak, you're triggering the little VU meter, and I'm listening to you on headphones, and we're doing something here that's not quite natural.
Yeah. But I don't know. I figure the time I spend on the computer, I'm writing bits or doing the sound or something, and that cruising and schmoozing and everything on the internet is like.
Yeah, I haven't really done.
I'd rather have an idea.
Yeah, I really haven't done any of that
or
either.
Do something with real people. It's very. It hasn't proved useful to me yet.
Making it a social thing?
Yeah.
I don't understand that, actually. I don't understand the appeal of that. That just sounds weird to me.
Yeah, we don't have to be so lonely, people.
No. I mean, I'd much rather have, like, Hong Kong. After work, everybody's outside, hanging out, talking.
Yeah.
You can understand a bit, can't you?
A little bit of Chinese. But I tell everybody in Hong Kong speaks English.
Yeah.
Most people, I would say. Yeah, you never get lost there. I wonder if they'll change the names of all the streets. Because a lot of the streets are named for the colonizers.
Oh, yeah, I bet they do.
The Queens Road and Kennedy Road and, all these idiot British people who went there and got mosquito bitten and everything, and it must have been horrible. They forced armies all over the place.
Does the sun still never set on the empire?
Yeah.
I think
probably
don't think you can say that anymore.
As long as Hong Kong's around, next year the sun goes down.
Yep, for the first time, the sun goes down in the British Empire. Nah, because they'll still have. Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, they don't have Australia. Well, I mean, technically, I don't understand how it works. Australia and Canada are still the Queen is still their queen.
Yeah.
But there's no. So I guess on a technicality they can claim that as part of the empire.
That stuff should disappear, though.
Yeah.
I can see it happening. It's getting smaller. I mean, over there in England, they just. So many people don't care about that stuff anymore. The king, the queen, the prince, and, come on. We're getting ready for Star Trek, the 21st century, and we still have the Milords.
Books. They're my downfall. I love to browse bookstores, and I always buy something when I can afford it, and just as often when I can't. Libraries are great, but bookstores try so much harder to entice. I pride myself on my ability to resist most forms of consumer manipulation, but when it comes to bookstores, I'm a sucker. I'll buy almost any kind of book, depending on the mood I'm in, though I've never bought a self-help book. On the few occasions I've picked one up while browsing, I've barely made it through the first half of the dust cover. Actually, whatever kind of book I'm perusing, I usually turn first to the About the Author section. Some of these About the Author blurbs can be quite telling. My favorites are the writers with absolutely no credentials whatsoever. No titles, no degrees worthy of a book cover mention, just a list of the writer's other works. Oh sure, I'll spend $27.50 on How to Live a Better Life by Abe Smith. After all, it must be good. He's the author of Living Better and Life, How It Can Be Better. Or when the writer does have credentials, half the time it's like reading a poorly embellished resume. Mr. Smith and his wife Candace Hilton Smith are co-founders of the Better Living Institute, which teaches the Better Living self-help technique, which they invented, based on the Better Living philosophy, which they developed. Abe and Candy live on a houseboat in Sausalito, California, with their 2 cats, Fred and Ginger. If there is no About the Author in the book I'm browsing, I put it back in its little display and proceed to the sections of the store I'm interested in. Why did I even stop in the first place? The book titles are so clever, and every new book cover is unique, and that eye-catching, tasteful in-store display. The books are always arranged invitingly on a table or shelf, maybe with little posters. The display is strategically placed right in the middle of the main aisle that leads to the back, where they keep the real books. Oh, and the smell. People rave about the new car smell, but a new book, oh, I swear they do it on purpose. They spray them with something. Bookstores. Oh, if you travel, you got to check out the local independents, wherever you are. You can usually find great regional stuff, local writers, local history, the arts, hiking trails, whatever. Stuff you won't find in a million years at your big chain bookseller back home. When it comes to books, I have to admit, I collect them faster than I can read them. I've got dozens of books from college that I'd like to finish someday. Or start. Most of them I read in sections as they were assigned, hopping around. You know how that goes. I never believed in selling books back at the end of the semester. For the couple of extra bucks it cost me, I wanted some tangible, physical connection to my time at university. A stack of reminders on the shelf, helping me remember I'm not so smart. As a matter of fact, as much as I love bookstores, it's often a melancholy experience. So much to know, so much to learn, so many writers, thinkers, artists. I'll never absorb all that I could, all that I'd like. That's okay, though. At the end of the year, I realize I haven't actually read that many books. I spent time with a newspaper that would be better spent on a book, I suppose. And like a lot of people, I just scan the front page, then I turn right to the sports and entertainment before I finally get back to the news. I notice and admire bus riders and cafe goers who always seem to have a book in their hand. It's one of the most pleasing sensations I know, holding a book, new or old, turning the cover and opening to the first page. I realize I'm not saying anything unique or profound here. I'm sure many people share this particular enthusiasm for that moment. At least I hope they still do, especially given the velocity at which video screens are becoming our primary source for the written word. I've always held to the belief that you can't have too many books, though this is inconsistent with my personal rule about not allowing an accumulation of possessions to complicate my life. I don't know if I'd risk death to save them in a fire, but I'll gladly spend a day or two packing and lugging them down one flight of stairs and up another the next time I move. Happy reading. This is Mr. Sunshine.
The NeoRadio Hour.
Physical matter, physical senses, physical data, physical structure, solid to itself, only knows itself. Is there anything but physical matter, physical judgment, physical knowledge, physical being? Scientific tools for scientific thoughts can't seem to find a way past physical matter, physical substance, physical premise, physical limits. Solid in itself, only knows itself. Is there anything but physical matter, physical structure, physical substance, physical data? Somewhere on the backside of our memory, watching for the moment when we're free to slip away. Somewhere on our way, somewhere on the way we left behind us or before. Somewhere on our way, somewhere on our way.
The NeoRadio Hour is written and produced by Peter Donalds and Frank Skillman. Contributing artists this time: High Strangeness, Dodie Pettit, Don Hilla, Ken Klinger, Amanda Krugliak, Morris Can Fly. And what we're listening to right now, a piece called Brooklyn Lullaby by Seth Evans. In conversation tonight, we kept it personal and in-house. It was Frank the Courier, a.k.a. Frank Skillman, our co-producer here on the show. And it's time now to remind you that everything you hear on the program comes to us from independent artists We hope that you'll send along your work at whatever stage it may be, in the idea stage, in the written stage, in the recorded stage. Thanks for listening. I hope you taped it. I'm Peter Donalds.